So now we're talking about hazardous material incidents, hazmat incidents. So you should understand the NFPA placard, which we'll be going over in a minute. Know what materials your organization uses or stores. Follow your employer's response plan. Hazardous material incidents response. So what should you do or not do in responding to a hazmat incident? Well, don't touch or smell the product if you can avoid it. If it's a liquid, do not attempt to mop it up. Make notifications by phone, not radios. And we'll get into all of these and talk about why. So you do want to secure and isolate the area. Wait for trained response personnel to clean up. And after we get done talking about hazmat, we'll be talking about natural disasters. And those include hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, blizzards, high winds, among other things. So hazardous materials. I gotta make me smaller. There we go. Hazardous material incidents. If your workplace stores or uses materials which are classified as hazardous, security guards should be familiar with those materials, their properties, and the dangers posed should they be involved in an incident. Most employers are involved in hazardous material awareness training, HAZCOM, which details the dangers presented by the materials. A hazardous materials accident, hazmat, creates serious and at times life-threatening concerns for the people involved. In cases where your employer or client is not involved in handling hazardous materials, there is a chance you could be involved in an incident either because of being in close proximity to your facility, a transformer explosion, production equipment problems, etc. Security guards need to be aware of potential dangers and their expected response. So the NFPA diamond, and you guys, maybe this looks familiar, you've seen this on things before. The National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, has developed a placard system designed to alert people to the potential dangers of certain materials. While on patrol of your facility, security guards should be aware of the location of these placards and the hazards associated with them. So quickly, I'll point out there are 4 quadrants and 4 colors with numbers, and so each thing means something different. And this is a diamond shape. I think that's one of your quiz questions. What shape? I know that's a NOCTI question. What shape is the NFPA placard? It's a diamond. So this pictogram goes into a little more detail if you guys can read that. So the red, and this one's easy to remember, red is for fire, flammability. How likely is this chemical to catch fire? Could water catch fire? You're going to see a 0, which means no risk at all. But what if the chemical was gasoline? You'd see a 4, which is the highest risk. So it's 0 through 4. No hazard at all. A 1, it's different depending on, so 1 over here. So 0 is will not burn. A 1, I can't read the writing here, but you can see it goes up in risk. So a 4 would be extremely flammable. That's what a red is. And blue is for health hazards, meaning what does this do to the human body? Does it make you sick? Is it a poison? Can it blind you? Can it kill you? There's all kinds of things there. And then we have yellow and we have white. And I'm going to actually keep going here because I think I have a better picture to look at to explain this. This is just really hard to read. Some general rules when dealing with a possible hazmat incident include: do not touch or smell the material. If you can smell something, you are ingesting it into your body. So you don't, I mean, sometimes you can't avoid it. You can't help that you're smelling something, but you don't want to just go stick your face in it like, oh yeah, that's oil, that's gasoline. Don't do that. And if it's a liquid, you want to sprinkle. There's all kinds of things that you can use: sawdust or kitty litter, or even, they make stuff that your company could buy specifically for absorbing spills. But the reason is, if you try to mop it up, all you're going to do is smear it around. So you want to put something on it that's going to absorb it, so you can actually shovel it off the floor to get rid of it. Number 3, make notifications by phone. Radio transmissions could trigger an explosion, and this is due to static electricity that, when the air is very, very dry, you know how you go up to somebody and you touch them and there's a shock? Static electricity. So if you have a really dry day, your radio could cause a spark due to static electricity, and that could trigger an explosion. So you don't want to use your radio in a hazmat spill. Secure and isolate the area for the safety of all. Only properly trained and equipped personnel should attempt cleanup. You might be that person. You might be the one who is properly trained and equipped, or somebody else in the company is, or you have to call the fire department. Your company will tell you what the procedure is. Security guards should, at a minimum, assist authorities in their cleanup process and make all appropriate notifications as instructed by the authorities. And there's probably health department or OSHA, and there's probably a chain of command within your company that needs to be notified. This is a big deal. Hazmat spills. Okay, so I guess we're not going. I thought there was another NFPA diamond. Maybe you guys' eyes are better than mine. I know that white is a special hazard. Like, does this chemical oxidize? Does it react violently or explosively with water? Instability hazard is the yellow. And, again, 0 through 4 is your numbers. So natural disasters, again, know your employer's response plan. During severe weather, security guards should be prepared to assist in evacuations if necessary, assist in emergency relocations, and detour people around any affected area if necessary. Security guards must become familiar with the emergency plan in effect at the work site. They play a key role in ensuring a smooth implementation of the plan and assuring the safety of others and the security of the facility in the event of a natural disaster. So, natural disasters are generally understood to be such things as hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, blizzards, etc. There are lesser incidents classified under this category. The major snowstorm, the heavy rain, the occasional high wind, all create the potential devastation similar to that which would be created by the conventional natural disaster. There could be a disruption to the normal activity caused by such things as power utility interruption, water leaks, window damage, falling ice, icy sidewalks, etc. All pose a challenge to the security guard's ability to effectively perform their duties. The security guard should be aware of the employer and client policies and expectations governing the response. During severe weather, security guards should be prepared to assist in evacuations if necessary, assist in emergency relocations, and detour people around any affected area if necessary. Security guards must become familiar with the emergency plan in effect at the worksite. They play a key role in ensuring a smooth implementation of the plan and assuring the safety of others and the security of the facility in the event of a natural disaster. And now it's time for a quiz. I'll let you guys do that on your own. So now we're going to talk about crimes in progress. Call 911, respond with more than one guard if possible. Listen to your dispatcher for updated information, which could be helpful. And by dispatcher, we don't mean county 911 dispatcher, we mean the security office dispatcher. Call for additional resources if necessary, police, fire, medical, and relay information to other responding personnel. Remember laws relating to legal powers, such as use of force and detaining suspects, etc. Identify and segregate potential witnesses. Establish and secure the crime scene. Maintain control of the scene until authorities arrive. And if you receive a call reporting an incident, gather as much information from the caller as possible. Crimes in progress. At any time, a security guard may come upon a crime occurring at their worksite. There are certain steps the security guard should take to help minimize the impact of a crime. In taking steps aimed at minimizing the impact, the security guard will also assist the authorities in their investigation, possibly reduce the effects on the employer, and could help lower the risk to potential victims. If you are the guard receiving a call for a possible crime in progress, there are steps you too can take in assisting the responding security guards. So basically, you're going to be given information here about whether you're the one taking the call or you're the one responding to the call. Either way, you have a lot of responsibilities. It is vitally important to get as much information from the caller as possible. Any information you could relay to the responding parties could reduce the risk they face in responding to an unknown. So there would be, for example, the dispatcher in the security office, and you may rotate your role, your position. This week you're assigned to the dispatch office. Next week you're out on patrol. It just depends on how your company does it. But I would imagine everybody in the security office has time in all of the different jobs. I mean, for one thing, it makes everybody good at everything, and you can interchange people and put them where you need them because everybody can do every job. But it also helps alleviate boredom, so you're not always doing the same thing over and over. So if this guy is the dispatcher for today and he's the one taking the call from the caller, he's the one sending the information out to the other security guards that are on duty in the facility or on the property. A security guard's response to emergencies is key to ensuring a smooth implementation and execution of the employer or client emergency preparedness plan. In most organizations, a formal or sometimes informal plan is in place. So this plan includes such areas as notification lists, proper authorities to contact, evacuation routes, loss control procedures, and individual roles in executing the plan. So I just put a little picture here of some binders because your policy and procedure manual, we talked about those back in law enforcement. Well, security offices are going to have the same thing, policy and procedure manual. And in those manuals, you will have step-by-step instructions of all of these things. You don't have to memorize this information. You just go to the book and look it up, and there it is. So this is just another picture. This looks like a pretty elaborate facility. And actually, maybe this is a hotel security, because that looks like a lobby to me, or maybe a government building. As a matter of fact, you might be surprised to find out that state offices, state government buildings, and even federal government buildings like the FBI, they hire their own security, private security, to provide security at their building. And you think, wow, FBI, I mean, they're pretty high up law enforcement. They can't protect their own building. Well, they could, but their job is to go do other things, and they don't have the time or the resources to devote to this when they're investigating these, multi-state investigations. So they actually hire and contract private security. You could be a security guard at the FBI building in Albany, just as one example. So in this picture, you see that there's a lot of different cameras that are up throughout the facility. Maybe this is even a mall. Like it looks like front doors there. There's more doors. It looks, I don't know. I have no idea what this is, but there's a lot. It's a big plant. You can see that facility. So she's the dispatcher for the day, and she's watching and monitoring all of this. So if something were to happen, she's got to be able to describe for the other officers that are out on property exactly where to go, what the situation is, who are they looking for, complete description, and all of that good stuff. So the National Incident Management System, NIMS, which includes Incident Command System, and that was one of your certifications and trainings we were going to do this year. I'm not sure yet if we will. I think it's a little hard to do distance learning wise. We'll see as the weeks go by how you guys feel and what we're going to do. But this is an important thing that you need to have. You need to know about the Incident Command System. And it is both a federal and state of New York standard for incident response. And the role of a security guard in an emergency situation varies depending on the situation. There are, however, a number of actions to take which are consistent regardless of the type of emergency. Of primary concern in an emergency is the safety of the security officer. In any situation, the guard should follow a basic set of actions geared toward reducing, containing, and controlling the situation. Know the employer or client emergency plan and expectations, and know your specific role. Keep the list of emergency contact numbers readily available and up to date. Request assistance from other agencies or individuals as needed. Do not try to be a hero. Make every effort to secure and isolate the affected area. Ensure your own safety and then that of other employees, visitors, and the neighboring public. And evacuate and assist as necessary. Keep a safe perimeter around the affected area. Always remain calm and reassuring. However, remember that you are the authority figure. Keep control of yourself as well as the scene. Take mental and field notes as the situation evolves. Documentation is crucial. Know your limitations, your legal limitations, physical limitations, policy limitations, etc. Have a thorough knowledge of the facility, including emergency exits, first aid stations, extinguisher locations, alarm pole stations, etc. And this is all a learning process. You're not going to know all of this your first day on the job. Probably not going to know it the first month. It's a step, it takes time to learn all of these things. But these are the topics that you will need to know. As a final duty, critique your actions during the situation. Learn from the experience. Remember, during a crisis, people look to the security guard for guidance. And after we work events together, we debrief what went good, what went bad, what can we do differently next time, what can be done better next time. That's an important step in emergency response. Contingency planning will minimize the loss resulting from the situation. If you have any questions regarding the employer or client's expectation of you in an emergency or your specific role, do not hesitate to ask. If an emergency arises, there may not be time to clarify it. So, we're finishing up Unit 4, finally, emergency situations. You should, at this point, be able to list the 4 general types of emergency situations that a security guard may encounter. List the factors that govern a security officer's response when alerted to a specific emergency situation. And that's it. I keep doing that. And it's time for another quiz. So I will end this video.